Pre-period, we conducted the puja in the class. Nobody knew until our great man Hariharan decided to break the coconut on the floor. If we had not done that, we wouldn't have been caught. நல்ல புட்சாலி பிள்ளையாருக்கு தேங்காய் உடைக்காம எப்படின்ட்டு எங்கள் வாழ்க்கையே உடைச்சிட்டான் அதோட ஒரே அடி சத்தம் கேட்டு கீழே all of them came up. They knew who had done it. Funnily enough, of course, father asked us to go home. I'll come with your parents, we'll decide. Next day suddenly they told us that we had been suspended for 3 days. See, in college if this happens we can manage, because hardly we go to college. From home we'll just leave and then we go elsewhere and come back by 4 o'clock. But school time if we are suspended, if we have to stay home, how are we going to answer our parents? I am sure every one of us got whacked at home. I got whacked by my mother, I know that very clearly. She has a very stinging left, which also she learned from Father Mallon. Those of you remember, even his pat on the cheek will be quite tough. So we didn't know what to do. What had happened was, some of the people in the school had gone and told Mallon that we had done it as an affront to religion. This was a Christian institution. We never had that feeling at all in Don Bosco. One thing, hats off to Don Bosco, we never felt we were in a Christian missionary house only. Perhaps the most secular institution in India would be Don Bosco, Egmore, where we studied. But somebody had gone and told that to Father Mallon. But then, 2 stalwarts stood by us. I can never forget them. Once again, Mr. Ramachandran and Mr. Selvadurai. They stood by us. They went and told Father Mallon, look, the boys are just 11 and 12. This is a childish prank. They wanted to prove 1 point above the others. They wanted to be a hero among their friends. Immediately, Father Mallon was convinced. He called us and he said, it's all forgotten. You can go back to class. You remember the words he told us. And believe me, after that, right up to our metric or even later, that was never held as a black mark against us. I think that could happen only in a school like Don Bosco, definitely. Any other school, this would have been a black mark for us. We would have been noted for that. Our marks would have been reduced. It never happened in Don Bosco. It was just, now we look back on it as one of our greatest adventures that we ever had in Don Bosco. And apart from that, the lecturers, the teachers were just wonderful. And the way Father Mallon encouraged sports, hats off to me, especially cricket. Our boys will still remember that every time we had a match, the school had a match at University Union, every class would be taken to University Union to cheer up our students. And that is how in 1964, Don Bosco won the first Interleague championship under the captainship of Vijay Raghavan. He is no more now, so to his memory goes these claps. He won the championship for us. And as far as acting is concerned, my guru, they all think is Shivaji Ganeshan. No, my guru is right here. Mr. Leela Ram is my big guru. Leela Ram, will you please stand up for a moment? This is the guy. I'll tell you how. Most of you will remember our great geography teacher, Miranda. How many of you remember him? He was a standard in those days. Even examiners in the metric public exam used to have his notes by their side to correct our papers. That was how famous he was. He loved me and Leela Ram so much that every time after he took attendance, he would say, Leela Ram and Vaiji Mahendra, please get out of the class. I don't know why he did that. He thought we would disturb the class. The problem in Don Bosco, if you stand in the corridor, you will be noticed by Father Mallon and you're sure for the slap. We had to get in before Father Mallon starts his patrolling the whole school. This fellow had a beautiful idea. He would take a paper outside, stand near the window, look with pathetic eyes and note down all that was going on in class, as if he's taking down notes. And believe me, that is the first time I saw an actor crying without glycerin. This fellow used to cry. He will have tears in his, sir, how can we miss this wonderful geography class, sir? Sir, please take us back. You know, I have never seen such a performance in my life. Pasamalar Shivaji kuda avlo nadikala. இப்படி நடிச்சு that man will be in tears அப்புறம். Oh, my children, come back, my children. We'll get in before Father Mallon. So, Leela Ram, thanks for all that wonderful guidance in emotional acting. Well, all said and done, Don Bosco was a delightful place. If you guys believe in rebirth, let me tell you, if I ever have a rebirth, I would like to be born in Egmore and join Don Bosco again. Hats off to Don Bosco and hats off to you guys who arranged this wonderful show. Thanks a lot.
So there you had a sample of the inimitable Y.G. Mahindran. I mean, he could, I had to cut him in his flow because he's so full of episodes and he's such a natural performer, speaker, and all of that is truth, right? And to present truth so beautifully, so entertainingly. Thank you, Y.G. Mahindran. Another round of applause too. He spoke about his wearing the dhoti and my asking him, and I think I got what I deserved. The rest of us are in trousers. It reminds me about and about the English that Selvadurai taught us, the grammar, for instance, and so on. About the Irishman who was asked whether trousers is singular or plural. And he didn't quite know, so he said, singular at the top, plural below. Anyway, we move on to our next speaker, who is who is another person we all know from the small screen. We have seen him for well over, I think, 15 years. He tells me he's been on the screen, and no wonder he's such a fixture in our mind space. He's done wonderfully well as a reporter, as an investigative reporter, as an anchor person, and that is, of course, Sanjay Pinto. If Y.G. Mahindran was put on the stage by his father when he was 11, Sanjay Pinto, I think, even outdid him, because when he was 5 years old, he was a compeer at the Don Bosco Annual Day. So you know, I've heard about child prodigies in music, and this is a child. I think must have been born with a mic in his hand. It just comes to him naturally. And that's Sanjay Pinto. And of course we know him. He was almost synonymous, particularly in the South, with NDTV. After that with NDTV, the NDTV Hindu Initiative. He's also been a writer. He's written extensively in the media as a columnist, as a journalist. And he is, I didn't know that, he was a lawyer. He apparently did law and then went on to do this stint in television. And in between, he did a very short, but I think very remarkable stint with radio. There was a time when one could hear him in the morning, and he made a very big difference. So creating niches in the broadcast space, creating niches in the communication space, niches that we are not about to forget. Sanjay Pinto, and he's also a lawyer. He practices media law, and it's my tremendous pleasure to invite Sanjay Pinto.
Thank you, Sashi, and good morning. This isn't my speech. One of the things I distinctly remember when I was in the primary school was this spoon race, where we had to hold a teaspoon in our mouths with a lemon placed on it, and the winner obviously was the one who reached first without dropping both. If you drop either the spoon or the lemon, you would be disqualified. And as a prominent author also once gave us this analogy, I realized 15 years after my stint in NDTV that perhaps that spoon could represent your health, and that lemon your family. And there's no point reaching your goal, reaching the finish line, if you drop one or the other. But then a lot of people, in fact even today, many of my batchmates, 91, whenever they see me, they say, Sanjay, why did you leave NDTV now? Why did you leave? There were many reasons, but I thought I'll share this today. This was the catalyst, ladies and gentlemen. They say a picture speaks 1,000 words. This was the reason. This is my daughter. I have twin babies. They're 3.5 now. They are going to PSBB. When she was a little over a year, this picture began to haunt me, and this remains my Facebook profile picture. A lot of people change their profile pictures. I haven't, because every day whenever I log into the social media, this serves as a reminder. And this, ladies and gentlemen, set me thinking, and it said, look, she deserves to see her dad in flesh and blood in person, not through the TV every day. And this, ladies and gentlemen, My family today is my target audience. My family is my target audience, and I have no qualms about saying this. And I would attribute this sense of priorities to the grounding I got in Don Bosco. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that a school should give you 4 things: a goal, recognition, opportunities, and values. Let me first stick to the goal. You know, our motto was a goal in itself: strength through hardship, virtues in arduis. I remember something that my father told me when I was in class 3 or 4. He asked me, Sanjay, you know, I've come up the hard way in life. I belong to a very middle class family. My mother used to be a teacher in the school. My mother was a teacher for 30 years in the school, and for 30 plus years, she did not go even one day late to class, not even one day. And I used to accompany her to school. You can see some of the parents, Malati Manohar and the others who, you know, Kishore was, I know, her student. My father one day asked me, he said, Sanjay, what is the difference between you and the other boys in your class? So to a class 4 student, I said, look, I wear slightly torn canvas shoes. My classmates wear the latest North Star shoes. That was a rage then. I go in 2 buses to school. My classmates come in different cars every day of the week. I take a small packet of biscuits to class to eat during the interval. My classmates buy burgers and, you know, Hanif's ice creams, of course. I used to manage somehow later when I started getting pocket money. So that's the difference between me and the other boys in Don Bosco, meant for the rich and the famous. And my father told me something that I will never forget for the rest of my life. He said, Sanjay, I cannot afford to give you what your classmates' parents give them. But I have struggled to give you a ladder to come up to their level one day. And ladies and gentlemen, it's because of that ladder, and it's because of that motto that Don Bosco taught me very early on in life that I am what I am today. A lot of people, I wrote a book on public speaking recently. It's called Speakers Are Made, Not Born. A lot of people wouldn't believe that I was very skinny when I was in school. Skin and bones. People used to say, eat well, please have an afternoon nap, eat bananas, drink a lot of milk. I was so skinny, just skin and bones. And while I was in the primary school, I was pampered because, you know, you're a teacher's son, it comes with those perks. But when I went to the main school, I was forgotten. I was like any other child, and I felt a little neglected. And I almost went into a sort of depression because I became a nervous wreck to even answer my attendance in class, to say, yes, sir, or present, ma'am. I would think a zillion times, and I would be so nervous when all the names were called out, Rajesh and Ravi, and then finally Sanjay towards the end of the attendance register. And I would somehow muster the courage, and it would be like launching a PSLV rocket that, yes, I've answered my attendance. And then I remember in class 9, there was a medical checkup, which is organized for the whole school. And I went for that, and you got the medical report along with the promotion card. And my diagnosis was, Sanjay Pinto suffers from low self-esteem. Please send him for public speaking classes. It seems scarier than surgery, that prescription. Because here I was, unable to answer my attendance in class, and you have some doctor asking me to go for public speaking classes. But I pushed myself and pushed myself and pushed myself and went on to, I remember I was a laughing stock when I went to speak at school culturals initially. But then you had a principal, Father Berkmans Fernandez. You know, some of my classmates, batchmates from 91 would remember. Father Berkmans Fernandez came up with a very novel idea of introducing an assembly address. Every Monday and Thursday, one student would be given the task of addressing the school assembly. And that's what really did it for me. That was the turning point in many ways. And then you had some of my teachers like Master Michael Sundar and Master Fonseca who said, no, for the Independence Day, let's give him a chance. So I addressed the Independence Day in school. And that signaled really my freedom from stage fright. And little did I realize that one day I would be addressing the nation, as some of my producers in NDTV used to say, morning, 8 o'clock, OB Sanjay addressed the nation. And then there was something else very interesting that happened. I don't know like how many of you, very poor in mathematics. it was almost I had a deep antipathy for the subject. I believe that either you have it in you or you don't. Either you have a head for mathematics or you don't, but it doesn't mean you're a dunce. And in class 7, our math teacher had a separate row called LIC called Lazy Idiot Colony. I just about managed a place there in the last row, Lazy Idiot Colony. And when I came to class 11, I said, look, I can't study mathematics anymore, I want history. And would you believe, Don Bosco was unconventional in the sense that we would have all, at least about 20 of our classmates, we were getting single-digit marks in mathematics. We would have flunked in the public exam. We launched a crusade for history as a group. That was history, accounts, commerce, and economics. And 2 months before the public exam, we launched such a crusade that the principal said, okay, fine, I will give you permission. 2 things, you go and get permission from the education department. We will go to the education department, and who do we find? The director of school education is an old DB parent, Mr. Nachimuthu. So he said, okay, fine, I'll sign the file. And then there was another problem. Which teacher will handle portions for 2 years before the public exam in 2 months? And then you had a wonder worker called Mr. K.U. Stephen, who agreed to take up history for us. And that's how we all passed in class 12, because somebody had the guts to take history for us 2 months before the public exam. Now, when it comes to recognition, the second point that I mentioned, my tryst with journalism, yes, I was the announcer and when I was 5 years old, but my tryst with journalism began when I was in class 7 or 8 by writing letters to the editor, initially the Hindu, then the Indian Express. And every time my letter would appear in the papers, it was a sense of pride, you know, the thrill of getting your name out in print, your views out in print. For a school student, it meant the world. They would put up my letters on the school notice board, recognition. And every time I would secretly see near the water cooler somebody standing near the notice board and reading my letters, it would give me a sense of pride and accomplishment and fulfillment. And you know what happened after that? I was writing on civic issues about, you know, open drains, about bad roads, about street lights, some around the school. And a lot of these government officials, when they came to know that I was actually a student of the school, would make a beeline to the principal's office to request him to tell me to stop writing. If I had a problem, I could tell them, they would do their job. And that is when, as a class 7 or 8 standard student, Sanjay Pinto tasted blood. Because I realized that with a little bit of publicity, you can galvanize governments and agencies into action. That's how my tryst with journalism began. Opportunities. I told you about the history group, I told you about the school assembly. There was something called RSP, Road Safety Patrol. I remember Mr. Maria Nyanam, who was in charge of the RSP. And there they gave us a chance to be part of the Guard of Honor. So any chief guest comes, Guard of Honor. It was an opportunity for us. And again, these are things that little appearances in public that help you overcome stage fright. And call it coincidence or providence or whatever. Later on, I went on to get a Guard of Honor when, and I remember Father John Alexander, the others keep calling me to preside over some school function or the other. So that's the kind of opportunities that Don Bosco gives you even after you pass out of the institution. Values. I still remember, I know catechism was just, the marks were not considered the overall ranking. But there's one sentence that has stuck with me for life. What my catechism teacher told me. The hands that help are holier than the lips that pray. The hands that help are holier than the lips that pray. And we used to implement that in Don Bosco through a Good Samaritan Day, which I think we were the pioneers. Much later, other schools sort of lifted that idea, but a Good Samaritan Day started with Don Bosco Egmore. And when I joined NDTV, I was brash, straight out of law school. I was brash. I have broken security cordons of prime ministers. I have woken up ministers from their beds, which will come out in my next book. I have asked the toughest questions, of course, with a smile. I have done crazy things, but then I realized that that stemmed from the kind of confidence that only a special school like Don Bosco could instill in a student. I have, over the last 15 years in my stint as a mainstream television journalist with NDTV, first as, on somebody reporting breaking news on the field from South India, and then, of course, going on to head NDTV Hindu as a channel. So I had 2 innings in NDTV, and I have covered the worst natural disasters like the tsunami, floods, assassination attempts like the one on Chandrababu Naidu in Tirupati. And throughout that, you're often tempted. Today, think media and then TRPs, and people talk about what the nation wants to know. Ladies and gentlemen, A television journalist went on record not long ago to say that, yes, it's a rat race for TRPs, but I don't mind as long as I'm the lead rat. Don Bosco's the sense of value, somehow it comes on, because those were the formative years. I have never been, and I can say this with all the honesty at my command, with all the emphasis I possess, that I have never been sensational in my reporting in 15 years of my stint in NDTV. I have always been sensitive. I'd like to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that even as a lawyer today, I had the guts to leave a career at the peak of my career and to start from scratch. And that courage you could get only from your foundation that was laid in Don Bosco. Which is why even today, when we do need to take on the big guys, be it governments through public interest litigation or big corporate houses or banks, one doesn't really fight shy of doing that. And I can certainly